So hi everyone. Glad that a lot of people have come in and joined this session. Uh, I request everyone to be on mute so that it becomes easy for the other people. I know there are a lot of folks who are trying to join in. So we'll just quickly let them be here and then quickly get started. It won't take us more than a minute to get this going.
Rajesh, I'll take care of the admission of people.
You are on mute, Rajesh.
Am I audible now?
Yep.
So
Rajesh, I'll take care of admission of people. You
Great.
can proceed with the call.
Great. So good evening, everyone. I'm Rajesh Singla, founder of Planify. So Beeinvest is one of our partners. So today I have got the opportunity to talk about NSE. So we'll go through the pitch for about 20 minutes. I'll run you through why it's a good investment which you should consider in your portfolio. And then we will take it up for the questionnaires. So I'll make sure that after a long day, once you have come in for this session, I make your time countable. I'm glad that overall it's very hard for anyone after a long day to join in for these sessions. So I congratulate each one of you for taking time and be present for this webinar. So we'll start with the NSE. If you can.
Rajesh, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Rajesh, I don't have the co-host. I am unable to control the noise here.
Okay, just give me a second. Quite a number of people wants to get in. So
yeah, I'm unable to admit or mute others because I lost as I gave you the host access.
No problem.
You can just go to the participants and give me and Deepika co-host. That will help us.
Is this the one for? This is withdraw co-host. If I'll make you
just
guys
go.
Huh?
Just go to participants. Can you see participants?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, just click on participants. Can you see Deepika or Sapna anywhere?
No, Deepika types. Deepika.
Office. Okay, office co-host meeting.
I can see office. So it is already co-host. It shows
okay.
withdraw co-host permission. Not a problem. I'll.
No, I got the access. Yeah, you can take care. I'll proceed with participation, admissions, and all these things, and sharing of the form. Please, may I request all the participants to please be on mute?
Great, guys.
Rajesh ji, you are on mute.
Yeah. So we'll proceed with it now. We'll talk about NSE as NSE stands for its National Stock Exchange. And I don't think like we need any introduction for the company as such. The company itself is very well-known brand. Most of us recognize stock market in the form of BSE or NSE. So if I just talk about why NSE got so popular, so the business started in around 1996 when they established the company in 1992, and in 1996 they basically started their operations. From that point of on time, in first few years they basically brought derivatives to the market. They also introduced trading through computers. Earlier, before NSE, everything used to happen through the circuit. Like people will go to BSC exchange. There used to be a ring, and people will try to get the shares, invest in the shares through brokers. And it was very painful experience for anyone to go to an exchange and get the shares done. There used to be Bombay Stock Exchange, which was the primarily the biggest exchange till that point of time. And there used to be a lot of regional exchanges in the form of Bangalore Stock Exchange, Ahmedabad Stock Exchange. There was Calcutta Stock Exchange, Delhi Stock Exchange. So in case you need stocks, you need to go to your regional stock exchange or you need to go to Bombay Stock Exchange to get the stocks. And there used to be a lot of to get these shares. The process was not at all easy. So, having said that, this process was actually made a lot of it was made convenient by NSE. So people started trading rather than going to the ring and procuring the shares. People starting getting the shares through computers, through terminals. So they brought in a lot of innovation, which basically drived them to become the number one exchange in India. And now they are one of the largest exchanges in terms of volume all across the world. So in terms of business, they are doing extremely well. And so this is pretty much the history of the stock exchange. Facing. So if we talk about the companies overall, there are about 49.5 crore shares. The company's profitability, so it's a very big exchange. The companies last year have a very healthy profits. The company had a turnover of about 12,000 crores and they made a profit of about 7,800 crores. This is extremely large. Overall, the valuation of the company is quite less. The company is available only at a multiple of 23. So I'll talk in detail about these things even while we take down the numbers we look at the numbers in detail. Overall, the intrinsic value of the organization is close to 9,200 rupees. And the stock is right now available at almost 40% of the intrinsic value. The share is available at 3630, 3,630 rupees. So there is a lot of margin of safety for this stock. So overall, if we talk about the company, so from an highlights point of view, this is the largest exchange in terms of the derivative market. Like it almost control 99.65% of the derivative market in India. And in last few years, the volume on derivative exchanges have grown tremendously. A couple of decades back, we used to have around 2.5 crore people having demat account. Today in India, about 10% of Indians hold a demat account. So we have got around 14 crore demat accounts, and a lot of people are trading. And and they are the single most company. Like they are having a monopoly in derivative segment. Although BSC after 2010, they also realized the power of derivatives and they tried to be into this derivatives market, but they have not been able to even crack 1% of the total market share. They hold less than 0.33% of the complete market, and the complete derivatives market is dominated by the NSE. Like 99.67% is controlled by NSE. Similarly, even if we talk about people who get the shares delivery, now earlier BSE used to have the upper, like they used to control the market, but now 67% of the total market volume gets traded through NSE. So in BSE overall, if we see, have been diminishing in their size. Not only in derivatives market, they were never be able to make their presence count, but even on the delivery side of the things, their market is shrinking. Overall, if we talk about NSE, the company has been growing very steadily. The revenue of the company last year also has grown by 42%, 43%. Even the profit margins are extremely healthy. Out of 12,000 crores of revenue, 8,000 crores, close to 8,000 crores, they are making as net profits. And this is because of the early adoption of the technology which they brought in 1998, 99, which helped them scale at a very fast pace. Today, we know Zerodha and other portals and other brokers which brought in a lot of innovations, and due to which they are generating a lot of profits. Similarly, NSE brought these changes in 1998, and basically they wiped out all the regional stock exchanges. Today, if you go to Delhi Stock Exchange, it's basically now a barren land. Like nobody is present there. There are only like there are a lot of pigeons who sits on that exchange. Nobody goes and do any kind of trading on Delhi Stock Exchange. The similar experience I've gone through has been delivered for Bombay Stock Exchange, sorry, Bangalore Stock Exchange, Ahmedabad Stock Exchange, Calcutta Stock Exchange, Ludhiana Stock Exchange. So most of these regional stock exchanges have been wiped out of the market because of the early adoption of the technology and the innovation which NSE brought in. Now, even if we talk about their profit margins, they're extremely healthy. If we talk about their return ratios, I'll talk about in detail about their return ratios. They're extremely healthy. Like they are able to generate shareholders a return of 32.3% last year also, and have been growing very steadily at a very fast pace. Again, this is because these margins are intact because there is no big competition. Even in next 5 to 10 years, we don't see anyone giving a tough target to NSE, and we feel they will hold on to the supremacy of the volume which they are getting for another, like easily they can get this for another decade or so. There is no exchange coming in which can be even looked at giving this NSE a competition. From an investment thesis point of view, companies trading at a P of around 24. Whereas in BSC, although it is not even like, as I said, ki BSC, the volume is one third volume of the delivery BSC is holding, and two-third volume has been done by NSE. And they do not control even 0.33% of the derivatives volume, which is basically the main volume on the stock exchange. Still, they are getting a PE of around 100 or 93.3 as they are listed. Imagine once NSE gets listed, what kind of PE they will demand or they will get because of these dominance which they have in this arena. So from that perspective, it becomes an extremely good investment. Even if we see their growth rates, like last year they have been grown in sales, they have grown 42%. In last year, 7 years, the company has been able to grow at a steady pace of 30%, which is phenomenal. If we see their profits growth, last year it has grown by 50%, 53%. And in last 7 years, it has compounded over 21 or 22%. The return on equity, even if we see it for any year, you'll generally realize they have been able to generate a lot of shareholders wealth, uh, uh, and they have been getting into 20s and 30s of return on equity almost consistently for every year. So this is the share price. Right now, the face value of the share is 1 rupee, and NSE stock price is being available at 3,630 rupees. So if I talk about again the revenue segmentation, as I said, so they make, apart from the derivatives exchange. So the derivatives trade basically brings in the most of the revenue for NSE. Apart from that, people who get the delivery of the shares, they also are able to generate income on those transactions. Apart from that, companies which are getting listed on NSE, they get a listing fees from them. Then they provide co-location. They provide co-allocation, like basically to big brokers, they provide separate lease lines, and they charge for that. This also brings in revenue for NSE. And then there are certain other things like settlement services, income of the investments which they are making, and this is also bringing in more revenue for NSE. Overall, I'll not go through these because we are already aware, like the equity market, indices, IPO, institution. These are the products and services which NSE offer. So we can look. I'll show you some interesting data rather than talking about the things which we already know. The derivatives and all, as I said, they control the 99.67% of the market and basically dominate that market. So even their assets are quite healthy. They have a lot of cash in their balance sheet. So and I have already talked about the industry statistics. Like we don't see any big player entering into this market. You can see overall mutual fund SIP contribution. They are also started a platform on NSE of NSE, where basically people can come in and invest in mutual funds. So that has been growing in last 6 years. It has been growing very steadily from 400 crores odd of SIPs. Now it has grown more than 1500 crores. So from that perspective, it is growing at a very good pace. Even if we talk about so FDIs and all of that part again, India being one of the hottest destination, and this is another interesting aspect where they are bringing in like you can buy insurance also through NSE platform. So they are trying to bring in a lot of other stuffs, and this has also been able to like overall it has been able to grow quite a bit. This is very interesting. In FY 29, if FY 19, there were only 3.5 crore people having DMAT. In FY 22, it is more than 10.5 crores. If we include FY 23 data, it is now more than 13 crore, 13 or 14, close to now 14 crore DMAT accounts in India. So basically, if our total population is 140 crores, so 10% of Indians now today hold a DMAT account, and this number can basically substantially increase to 80 to 85%. So China had this same philosophy, like in 1980s they had this boom where their economy grew. In last 40 years, last 4 decades, Chinese economy has grown, and overall the same participation was there. Like earlier, there used to be less than 2 to 3% people who used to be holding demat accounts in China. And at the peak, now almost 85% of Chinese hold a demat account. The similar boom is expected even in India. We have seen just first decade of our expansion of our economy. This is going to expand for next 2 to 3 decades. We feel Indian economy has the potential of growing at a very fast pace, and this will bring in a lot of new investors, especially today youth, especially in 20s and 30s, are coming in and talking about investment, and that never used to happen. Like 20 years back, people only after 40s or 50s used to start thinking about serious used to get serious about their investments. But today, new age, with new age technology and with lot of convenience, lot of youth is coming in, and they are doing their investment in a proper manner. And with the new age platforms like Zerodha, Grow, and other platforms, we feel this number is going to blossom even for next 2 decades, and this will bring in a lot of revenue even for NSE, uh, being the major shareholder, or the major being the monopoly in this exchange business. Even if we talk about the number of derivatives contract, you can see like the number of derivative contracts. Even if we compare this is a very interesting slide which we have where we have showcased NSE data versus the world's biggest exchanges. Nasdaq, we feel, Hana, lot of people would have heard about Nasdaq. It's basically US stock exchange, which is very popular for investing into this startups as well as the new age companies. So number of derivative contracts traded daily on Nasdaq is 315 crores. So these are the number of derivative contracts. It is 315 crores, and on NSE you can already see the volume is more than 10 times. And you can compare it with any other exchange, be it Chinese exchange or any other exchange across the world. The numbers are nowhere matchable. Like we are way ahead in terms of NSE. NSE is way ahead in terms of number of trades, be it in derivatives, be it in capital markets, be it any even in stock index options, or even the currency options. And that is the dominance which they have created in this market. So again, I'll again run you through few. So I'll not talk about their again the stuff which I have already talked. I'll want to showcase few of their charts. So this is the revenue growth. You can see from 2000 crore, the company has grown to 12,000 crore in last 5 6 years, and they have shown a very resilient revenue growth. Similarly, their PAT growth has consistently increased from 1500 crores. Now it is more than close to 8,000 crores. So we can see phenomenal growth happening even in from an EPS point of view. The EPS have crossed, or it is close to 150 now. So we can see a phenomenal growth even in the earning per share. Their book values have also grown. So once you can see these J type. They're basically exponential curves for all their profits, be it EBITDA, operating profits, or net profits. We can see the assets growing. So cash flow from financing, they are not into financing. We should have jotted here cash flow from operations. Again, that will be it will be basically a reverse curve. So I have already talked about the revenue, so I'll not talk about the financials in the form of table. And it's also generating a lot of so it's also giving a lot of dividends. Last year they have given a couple of dividends where they gave so this year I think they have given the dividend of about 80 rupees per share. And last year they have given a dividend of about 42 rupees per share. So they pay out dividends also quite decent. So about 2 to 2.5%. There's a dividend yield at 3,600 rupees becomes close to 2.5%. So from an investment point of view, this company becomes extremely attractive. As I said, BSE today trades at about 93. As I'll again sum this up. BSE today trades at a PE of about 93, and BSE does not BSE stands nowhere in front of of NSE. NSE holds 99.67% of the market of derivatives, which is basically the trading volume, which generates the trading volume on the exchange. They control 67% of the contracts being delivered, where people are able to take the delivery of the shares. BSE holds about 32%. So from BSE point of view, like it is very minuscule in as compared to NSE, and it has been because they have been early adopters of the technology and innovation. So today the company is only trading at a P of 23 or 24. Once it gets listed, if BSE is demanding a P of 100, it can easily easily get a P of even 300 to 400. So that kind of opportunity it presents. And rather than thinking from an PE perspective, what we have overall or tell our investors is the company has been able to generate a lot of growth in the last few years. Last 6 to 7 years, the company has dominated in terms of the growth. And we see there is no other company coming in, no other exchange coming in India and giving NSE a tough time, even for next couple of decades. This is the same reason why we feel their margins will remain intact and they will be able to grow at a very fast pace. This is again the one of the strongest reason why people should look to invest in NSE. I'll talk about the process investing in NSE is not that simple as it is investing in maybe studs or urban tots. So here the minimum lot size is of 100 shares, and NSE stock price is of 3630. So basically the minimum investment becomes 3,63,000, and where people will have to park in their investment. And apart from that, there is a documentation charges of 10,000 rupees. So if even if someone wants to invest, let's say let's say want to invest for 1,000 shares, so the investment becomes 36 lakh of 30,000 rupees. Documentation charges remains the same. It becomes 10,000. And in this documentation, there is basically 8 affidavits which will be filed to NSE, which is will be on a 500 rupees stamp paper, notarized, and there will be a CA who will process these documents. So basically, these document itself cost about 6 to 7,000 rupees, and 3 to 4,000 rupees is being charged by CA for filing of all of these documents and getting everything in place. And then from buyer, and these similar documents are even required from the seller. So the seller also prepares the similar documents, and CA then send these documents to us, and then we further process it to NSE. NSE board of meeting happens once in a month. We need to get an ROFR approval. Now, what's an ROFR approval? It's basically right of first refusal. They have to approve the shares transfer, then the shares gets transferred. Generally, earlier this process used to be quite lengthy. It used to take anywhere between 3 months to 12 months to get the shares transferred. But again, they have adopted a lot of technology. The minimum time which we have taken to where the shares got actually transferred was 14 days, and the delivery of the shares have reduced quite a bit. Like it generally between, and it takes anywhere between 1 to 2 months in general to get the shares transferred. So the fastest has been in 14 days, where we got when we filed the lucky on the next lucky day, the meeting was happening, and we got an early approval, and we were able to get the shares transferred very quickly. So I'll open up the deck for questions. If people have any queries, they can ask in. I'll also request Sapna ji if she can share the form for people to fill in.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I'm sharing the form.
So is that shares will be available as part of our Demat account?
Yes, the shares will be available in Demat.
So is that minimum investment will be 1,000 shares, or is there any negotiation?
Minimum is 100 shares. So we can do the
Minimum is
multiple of 100. So like 100, 200, 300, 400. Even
minimum is
we can
100.
do 150 shares. We can even do 150 shares. So after 100, even if you want to pick 50 shares, but they won't do 140 shares. We will not get an approval for 140 shares. We can easily get an approval for 100. And generally, we tend to see people investing 100, 200, 300, 500,000 shares. Our average ticket size in NSE is close to 500 shares. So people whoever are coming and investing in NSE, they generally try to invest anywhere between 15 to 20 lakhs.
Okay. Is there any negotiation on the price, or is it will be fixed?
The prices are fixed. So the good part is we have already negotiated these prices with the seller, because Beeinvest is one of our premium partners. We already, Sapna ji and us work on negotiating these terms so that our investors get the prices at the least.
Okay. Suppose if I have invested today, consider like the next month, December, I got the shares. So suppose if I want to sell, is there any lock-in period, or can I sell anytime?
You can sell these shares anytime. Before the listing, the shares can be sold anytime. Post listing, the shares will be hold in your demat for 6 months. At the time of at the time of an IPO, you will be able to sell these shares even in IPO, like as an OFS. So merchant banker will be sharing a document. We will obviously notify our investors as well as Beeinvest investors that merchant banker has given us this document. If we want to sell these shares even in an IPO, so we can sell these shares through an IPO. Post the IPO listing, we cannot sell the shares for 6 months. After 6 months, we can sell these shares at any given point of time.
Is there any tentative date for IPO listing?
See, they have been
Do you
trying
have
right. So they have been trying on the IPO from last couple of years. They earlier filed for their DRHP, but they couldn't do the IPO last year. The market sentiment was not good. After the war, the sentiment
That's minute.
was quite poor. But this year around again, the market has revived after from the month of April, the market is going great. And with the new CEO coming in, one of the objective which he has already shared that he wants to get NSE listed. This is one of the top priorities which he has set for himself. So in next 3 to
But
In
last 6
Google,
months, a lot of IPOs are listed. As market was growing, most of them are interested to list their IPOs so that they will get good benefit. Then why NSE is not much interested at that time?
no, sir, in the Google, it's showing some legal issues going on for listing of NSE.
right.
Is
So
it?
NSE has all, so there is a couple of points. So like NSE has filed their DRHP last year, but they couldn't do the IPO last year because the sentiment was not good. Now there has been a co-allocation scam which happened in 2015, where NSE CEO, and that point of time there was a lady who was basically taking care of the administration part. There was a 600 crore scam which happened at NSE. NSE has paid all the dues, and that has been settled in Supreme Court. And NSE has paid 600 crore of the fine or whatever the fees to SEBI. Post that also, then there is still there are people who after settlement also there is a file which has been has been a petition which has been filed in Chennai High Court again on the co-allocation scam. Although the case was settled, but still there has been an applicant, and until unless that application gets through, obviously like they will not be able to do their IPO. That has been one of the primary reason why they have not been able to float around their IPO.
Okay. But in that case, suppose if there is another settlement will be there, they have to pay some amount, means again it will be impact on the share price, right?
See, we actually really don't think this allocation case have been blown out of proportions. The basically what was the allocation case, and it was very interesting that the dealers or the brokers who were getting the lease line directly from NSE, they used to get the rate share rates few seconds early than the normal people who is dealing who is seeing those shares through internet lease lines. So, and there the difference was basically where the brokers made a lot of benefit. Like they already knew what is the price which is going to appear uh, for the other people, and they used to trade against that. And brokers made a lot of money out of it. And NSE was charged that they didn't do enough to take care of the investors. So for that, SEBI held them accountable and gave them a penalty which they already paid. But now this one another high court petition got filed, and the case has been lurking. Overall, we don't think the case is anywhere valid. So from that perspective, we don't think there is going to be other fees, because SEBI has got whatever they have asked. There was no negotiation which has been done by NSE, and they've paid all the dues. We don't think there is going to be another there is going to be any another form of fees or what we say as jurmana. Matlab they won't be paying any fine, extra fine or other fine apart from that.
Yeah, fine, thank you.
So what is the time for applying this? Minimum time?
So Sapna ji will be able to take that up.
Sir, I'm sorry, your question is not audible. Could you please repeat?
Time, how much time it will be there for applying this? If I fill form now.
So once you fill the form, there will be a token advance or a booking advance that you will be paying, which is I think 50,000, Mr. Rakesh,
Yes.
Mr. Rajesh.
50,000.
right? So 50,000 you will be paying, and total amount like 3630 into 100 shares plus 10,000 will be the amount. So 3,73,000 to be precise, all inclusive, including the documentation. And 50,000 you will be paying now, and balance of the amount you can pay in next 5 working days.
Right.
And for the booking will open from tomorrow working hours. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we will be taking the booking. So that is Wednesday and Thursday. So until next Wednesday and end of the day, we can clear the balance. Excuse me.
Total how much shares are available for the booking?
So minimum is 100 shares, and you can do it in the multiples of 100 shares. As I said, the average ticket size which people generally invest is anywhere between 500 shares to 1,000 shares. People generally tend to invest anywhere between 15 to 20 lakhs when they invest in NSE. But the minimum is 3,73,000, and it can go even to 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore. Like we can make even bigger chunk of stocks available.
So there is a question for you, Rajesh ji. Mr. Krishna Kishore is asking how many years it will take to get into an IPO.
So what the guidelines which has been given by the new CEO, one of the highest priority or the topmost priority for him is to get the shares listed. So he has given a guidance of about 1 to 2 years where he see the company coming back, because if you do not go through the IPO, once you file the DRHP, there has to be some cooling off period. Once that cooling off period goes through, I am pretty sure he is going to bring up again listing of NSE IPO on the stock exchange. And generally, what we feel it should take him around anywhere between 1 to 2 years to get these shares listed on the exchange. NSE getting listed on NSE is going to be quite interesting. And it will straight away come in, after again the cooling, after the exchange, after the cooling off period of one company getting listed, it is going to come in Nifty 50 as well as in Sensex 30, because it is one of the largest business which exists in India. So it will get marked in Nifty as well as in Sensex. After a year, I think there is a cooling period of 1 year post the listing. And then they basically add that company into Sensex or Nifty.
Rajesh, currently the share price is showing as 3,600 plus. So in next 2 years, if they come for pre-IPO also, I mean, how much can be expected? And do you think that price ranges can be, people can buy those ranges?
See, before the IPO, so it's a very good question. I'm sorry, I didn't get the name.
Kishore, yeah.
Kishorji. So Kishorji, it's a very good question. So from an intrinsic value point of view, the company's share price should be close to 9,200 rupees. And at this point of time, the share price is 3,630. So which is almost 40% of the total value. So there is a lot of margin of safety from an investor point of view. Now it is anybody's guess that in 1 year or 2 years, where this price should go. What we have overall seen, what I have overall seen in last 15 years in my stock experience, the stocks tends to get crazy valuations at the time of euphoria. So BSE, I don't think today, honestly speaking, should get a PE of 100. Honestly, we feel it's like the company is getting too good valuation for the investors. It's time for them to reap those benefits. The similar case will happen for NSE, because it's going to be a monopoly play. For NSE, getting a premium and getting a P of 100 is actually very, very much possible. You won't even think that it is basically the company is being like overvalued or staged at that point of time, because it's a monopoly play having such a big margins. So, and it will go to even crazy valuation of 300 or 400 Ps also in the time of euphoria. Having said that, from here, as I said, there is a lot of margin of safety. From here, we don't think from 3,600 rupees, the share can come even to 3,000 rupees or even lesser than that. Like, we don't think the share price will ever come to 1,100, 1,200, like 1,000 or 2,000, which you used to be the price 2 to 3 years back. I have done investment in, like, I have asked my investors to invest in NSE from 600 rupees. And last 5 years, I have just seen the price growing over years, and they have been able to generate a lot of wealth for themselves in terms of. And today, because it's an right now, the shares are present in pre-IPO, this valuation is still very attractive. Like the price which has been moved, it has been able to justify that. P of 24 is still will be considered to be cheap. So from that point of view, we feel investors is going to generate a lot of wealth, even if they invest at this point of time at 3,600 rupees. Obviously, when once they come up for an IPO, how we have observed with the other companies is they generally tend to do a bonus before they come up for an IPO. IPOs generally happens of less than 1,000 rupees. Generally, the tendency of merchant banker is to do an IPO where the price band they can keep of less than 1,000. So if the intrinsic value or the price at that point of time is becoming 10,000 rupees, so what will they do is they will basically give the bonus of 10 shares or 50 shares or 100 shares. We have seen this over and over for Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank. One share was split into 500 shares. Like, one share was given a bonus of 500 shares. Similarly, then there is Tata Technologies, which is going to get listed very soon now. Next, in probably in this month itself, it is going to get listed, Tata Technologies. And before the IPO, like 5 6 months before, they have given a bonus of 1:10. They have basically done a split as well as bonus of 1:5 shares and a split of 1:1. So one shares basically got converted into 10 shares. So, and the value of the share, which was used to be 1,000 rupees, has become so the value of the share, which used to be of 10,000 rupees, has now become 1,000 rupees. So the similar thing will happen even for NSE. Before the IPO, merchant banker will give bonus shares so that the number of shares can be increased and the value of share can be brought in to be less, so that more retail investors can participate. I hope I am able to answer the question.
Yeah, yeah. We have one more question, Mr. Rajesh. So what is the lock-in period? Can we sell before listing? I think this was answered, but yes, you can.
Yes, absolutely. We can sell these shares. There is no lock-in before the IPO. So you can sell these shares through us at any given point of time. At an IPO, the stock, you can sell these share even through an IPO. Merchant banker is going to file in OFS, offer for sale document, and we tend to tell our investors that OFS has been shared, and we get the OFS filled for our investors. Obviously, we'll do it for Beeinvest investors as well. We'll inform you guys, and we can sell these shares through an IPO. Post the listing of an IPO, the share cannot be sold on the exchange for 6 months. There is going to be a cooling off period. After that 6 months, these shares can be sold even on a stock exchange.
So do we have any more questions? Please fill the form in case you have any query.
Hi, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is Venkateswara.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, regarding this, I have already invested around 10 lakhs in NSE. At that time, it was I was told that it is 3,000. Now it's the 3,630 shares price appreciation from since then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
After this year results, there is again a lot of interest from investors coming in. And as I said, in last 5 years, I have seen this price going up and up. We can see the charts. It's like it has always been going north. Similarly, the price has always grown north because the company has been able to deliver on like the company has been able to deliver phenomenal growth in terms of revenue, in terms of profit, in terms of margin, and they are the monopoly play.
You are from Planify, right?
Yes.
Yes. So actually, in Planify, you are. I mean, I see many other companies also there. HDFC Bank related HDB services also it is there. So I mean, by seeing in website, how can we know when they are going to listing the IPO, or which? How can we filter the companies? Do you have any suggestions from your end, or do
Sir, pre-IPO,
I mean, many companies are there in the Planify, right?
right.
So
We have got more than 300 private companies available for investment. So through our platform, if you want to look at it, you can go through Planify website. We are also available on our app, and there you can filter out the companies. There is a lot of information. You will find all of these presentations which we have created. It is actually from our website only. So we go in and talk in detail. So we do a lot of research. We are having an in-house analyst team. We do a lot of research on our companies, and then we bring good companies for investment to our investors as well as for our partners. So Beeinvest is one of our premium partners. We work with them, and we have already done quite a number of sessions with Beeinvest, and we have helped their investors invest in good private companies.
do you have any idea on HDB financial services? Is that good or to invest now?
Sir, HDB is a very good
Or
business. HDB is a
yeah,
very
tell me.
yes, HDB is a very good business to be in. So I know all the private companies. You can talk to me about any private company, although that is
So
not.
Kishore sir, do not worry. That is our next pre-IPO, which is going to come up once the NSE funding is done. Then we are doing the HBD only. That is our next in the game. It is scheduled for already a call with Mr. Rajesh. Yeah, you can wait for this. We will be doing from Beeinvest also.
I'll talk in detail about HDB. I love to talk about HDB. The most views on our YouTube channel we have got apart from NSE is actually for HDB video.
Oh, sure. I will wait for
So we
that.
have a next question from Mr. Ramana. Generally, institutional investors would grab this opportunity instead of individual investors. Is there a regulation that is making that is making NSE to go to the individual?
Uh,
Did you get it, or shall I read out again?
So from an investor point of view, there is no restrictions. Again, from an NSE point of view, because it's a public limited company, they can have more than 200 investors. And once, say, let's say an institute or let's say a big investor has grabbed, let's say 1 lakh shares, and today, with our help, we are able to sell 100 shares or 200 shares or 500 shares or 1000 shares or 5000 shares lot. It is absolutely acceptable to NSE. They do not have any problems. All they need is that it has to be passed on through them. Like we need to get an approval from their board of directors once we are selling the shares. So there is no as such, no restrictions as such from NSE or any other form like from SEBI or anyone else. Where so you once you are the shareholder in a company, you have the you are the right having the right you are having the rights to sell those shares as and when required.
So can we have more questions? In case if you don't have demat account also, you can fill the form, you can make the booking amount payment. So we reserve the shares for you and we help you open the demat account. It's a matter of like 4 to 6 hours for us. It's a matter of 1 working day for us. So please do fill the form before you leave the session. And if there are any queries, please feel free to ask.
Guys, I must say that you have already taken the first right step of coming on for this session. It is not at all easy for anyone to join in for these sessions after a really long day. So I congratulate each one of you for taking first step towards your financial freedom.
We are getting a lot of forms. We are just waiting for queries in the meanwhile. While you fill the form, if anybody has queries, please do fill. You can fill in the queries in the form also, or you can open, you can raise a question here also. You can open a discussion here also. We have the expert who will be able to resolve the doubts. So Rajesh, it is something which I would like to understand. Now earlier there was a restriction. I mean, in the sense there was a barrier on the entry side. How so? Could you elaborate, because a lot of people have joined in last 40 minutes. So when you spoke about the entry barriers of NSC earlier, uh, I think people did not get a chance to
So it's about
understand that.
the 100 share thing which you want me to talk about.
Earlier there was an entry barrier. That is where we got 5,000 shares purchased in the month of March, April for our investors also. So we had to form an SPV and do it. So
It was
if you
for
can
5,000
elaborate.
shares. Acha, so as such.
Now it is available for the lot of 100 also ना. अभी तो छोटा lot भी available है.
हाँ
पहले
जी।
कहाँ था ऐसा? 5,000 का lot था, तब जाकर हम कर पाए थे वो. और वो भी काफी 4-5 महीने बाद हमको क्रेडिट मिला था शेयर्स का.
अच्छा, so
So
this
abhi that scenario has completely changed. And getting and can people still buy 100 shares from any other platform, or is it exclusively only with Planify?
we are having this availability. The seller which we are having available with us, we are able to do 100 shares. I'm still not sure about the other platforms. If they have been doing through an SPV, I don't think that was relevant. We have been able to do 100 shares. Like we have sold more than 1 lakh shares in last 5 years. तो नहीं कहूँगा. In last 1 year, we have done more than 1 lakh shares in NSE. And we the minimum we have done is 100 shares, and the maximum we would have done anywhere between 50 to 60,000 shares in a single go. And nowhere we have done SPVs, Sapna ji. Matlab, through us, you can be rest assured the process will be taken care of very
No,
smoothly.
at that time, Planify was not with us as partner. So yes, whichever partners we spoke, we were not able to procure for our investors. It was a very lucrative for us, and we just wanted NSC to be given to our people. And that time also, the price was also 3K, and we thought, okay, ठीक है, ये कर सकते हैं. And again, the lot size was huge, and that is why we pulled in 15 people and we got it. So we did face entry barrier, and I think Divya from your team is also prompting me to announce maybe in this session only that entry barrier for NSC 6 months before was minimum lot size was 500 shares. So the ticket size was too huge. Now it is reduced to 100. The time process was too lengthy. The delivery of shares took almost 6 months. Now
Right.
it is reduced to 2 months. Deals were done through a third party. Now it is direct buyer-seller deal.
Right.
So this, is she in the session somewhere?
She
I
is
couldn't
always
see
there.
her.
She always
Acha.
is always there.
Hi
She,
Divya, thanks for the response.
Hello.
Hi Divya.
so as I said earlier, the process used to take a bit longer. That is pretty much true. And now the process has smoothened out quite a bit. We have been able to do 100 shares lot easily. And the only catch is here is although we say 100 shares, but still our average ticket size for NSE is close to 15 to 20 lakhs. It is anywhere between 500 shares. Like people tend to invest 500 shares at least if they are coming in for NSE. The kind of business it is in, Sapna ji, it's very lucrative because it's a monopoly play. You do
Undoubtedly.
We do not have any
Monopolist hai na? He's a monopoly. I mean, NSE is a monopoly.
monopoly. So there is no other stock exchange in India or even outside India. Matlab, I have seen showcase the graphs है ना, versus Nasdaq and China Stock Exchange and all other stock exchange. The volume is 10 times. And there is no other stock exchange which is even close to how. And for NSE, once it comes for an IPO, believe me, it will bring in so much FDI. It will bring in so much new investors out, like foreign investors will come in to invest in NSE. There will be a lot of euphoria which NSE will create once it gets listed.
So we have a question from Mr. Suman. If quantity increased, can we get the better price? So, Mr. Suman, the price itself, before bringing to our Beeinvest investors, we would have disturbed Ms. Divya and other people enough. For every 1 rupee, we keep on nagging with them to bring down the prices. So, if it has come to you, be rest assured the price is already best competitive in our capacity that we have got it, and always Beeinvest get a competitive advantage because our group of investors come forward in one go. So we are always having a bulk bargaining capacity when it comes to dealing with Planify or any other platform. So there is nothing like if the quantity is increased, the price gets better. The price already is better, it cannot get even more better. Matlab, squeezed out hai, it is completely squeezed out. There is nothing more left for Mr. Singla to allow for us. So that is the situation, Mr. Suman. Yeah, we have one.
But Swapna, the same price is there in Planify also. Then why can't we get some discount?
So it has been reduced.
Then there will be a big war in Planify investors, the community, no? Rajesh, आप क्या करेंगे फिर? If
मतलब
sir,
इतना
Mr.
fight किया
Suman,
है
what
इन्होंने
happens is,
from 38
Mr. Suman, what happens is whenever we are negotiating with Planify and their associates, Divya or various other people, so what they say is that if we give even 1 rupee lesser to your investors, and we have to, because even your investors will visit our website. So on our website, if the price is lesser for a particular day, then there will be a lot of inquiries and hodgepodge happening. There will be a buzz. So they have to keep the prices same for their investors or the investors from Beeinvest. There cannot be any price difference. But yes, we do bring them to the point where even they have to change their website to mark our investors, benchmark our price for the investors. We are forcing them to do. We are literally forcing them to do that.
I myself have talked to the seller of NSE and have got the price renegotiated before this call. This call was supposed to happen yesterday. And
Saturday it was supposed to happen, but since we were having the price war with Divya and Rajesh.
So it took us couple more days to convince the seller to get us a better deal. And once it is settled now, we've got a good price. We thought we can introduce this price to our investors and be investors.
And since the lot size is a little smaller, that is why we are unable to cut down the MRP to little lesser from this. This is what we understood when we spoke to various other partners. So we do a price comparison with every partner, and then only we bring it. It's not only we are committed to Rajesh, it's that we are open to the market and we have various other providers. So the lot size was very, something which could fall in our investors bracket. So that is where we decided to go ahead with Planify, because others we were having lot size issues and MRP issues also were there, plus delivery related also we were not pretty sure, because NSE is very, very stringent when it comes to giving the shares to the investors.
As I said, there are about 8 affidavits of 500, of which goes on a 500 rupees stamp paper to NSE from buyer as well as seller, and it has to be notarized, and it has to be run through from a CA, which has got the apter knowledge on how to do these deals. As I said, we have done more than 1 lakh shares of NSE in last 1 year, so we are like the right people which Sapna ji is able to trust, where she knows ki, the investors will not face any challenge. And that's always been our primary goal, that investors have a smooth life, and we are able to transfer, get the shares transferred easily.
We still have 54 members in the session. I would request all the members to fill in the form. If you have any queries, also fill the form. You will get a one-to-one call from our team, and if the query is requiring further expertise to answer, we will take help from Planify team. So please feel free to fill the form, and better I would request that you fill the form and then leave the session, so that we also come to a conclusion of the session.
Rajesh ji,
Hanji.
This one, if we, if the payment was done today, it is just like Urban Tarts, no? Just the shares will come to your demat account.
Right. So Krishna ji, the process is quite similar to Urban Tots. The only catch here is the shares will come in demat. So that process is same. Now we make the payment and we get the shares in demat. But here we need an ROFR approval. So ROFR is basically right of first refusal. So right of first refusal, basically what is this right? Where the board of directors of NSE has the right to buy those shares back from the seller, rather than passing it on to the investor. So generally it's just like a formality which they do, because every month there is almost a volume of more than 50,000 shares which gets where this approval gets is being done from the board of directors. Obviously they cannot buy back the whole of 50,000 shares, so they have never actually bought any share, but this is one process which they have kept it for themselves. And once that is done, the shares gets transferred. So it takes generally, as I said, the earlier the waiting period was used to be quite long. It happened anywhere between 3 months to 6 months, and at times it has even taken 9 months time to get the shares transferred. But today the process has got quite fast. From last 6 months, we have seen the process getting really fast. The fastest turnaround time for us to get the NSE shares were 14 days only. And generally, right now, it is happening anywhere between 1 month to 2 months.
Okay. So within 1 to 2 months. And second thing is no need of our signatures, something like that. You are saying some documentation is there.
Yes, it will be required. So documentation signatures will be required.
Means our signature, we need
yes,
our signatures.
Right.
Okay. We should be available in India.
Even if it is not, so we have got a lot of shares signed from Dubai, Qatar, Oman, US, Europe, England, Germany, Australia, Singapore. Like we send in the documents. So for that, we generally like there whatever the shipping cost comes, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, we take that.
Okay.
Basically send out the documents, it gets signed, and it gets back the courier, like couriered back in, and we get the shares transferred.
Okay. All right.
It generally increases only the turnaround time by, let's say, 15 days or 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Otherwise, the process gets executed.
Okay. Thank you.
So I have shared the form link again in the group. We have 33 participants more with us. So I would request the participants to please fill the form before leaving this chat, before leaving this session, so that we can get back to you and we can help you proceed with the investment. We will be ending the session in next 5 minutes. Meanwhile, if you have any queries, please feel free to check with Mr. Rajesh, or you can ask me as well. Do we have any more questions? People are filling form, Mr. Rajesh. It will take a while.
No problem.
Let them fill the form and then they can exit.
Sure.
So Rajesh, we have a question from our investors. Why the ticket size is so huge all the time with Planify?
I thought people will say we have got the ticket size very low this time around.
Correct.
NSE people generally earlier, the case with NSE used to be like earlier nobody would do the shares even for 500 shares. Like 500 shares was also not possible a couple of years back. The ticket size used to be 1,000 shares. With overall lot of persistence, we have been able to bring it down to 100 shares now with our sellers. And this is one, one thing which we have brought in foreign investors. A good part I'll also explain. I'm sorry, I missed the name of the person who has done this.
Mr. Prakash.
So
Mr.
Prakash, if you make money, what we have already, what we have realized in this market, in stock markets is, if you, so it doesn't matter how many times you are right or how many times you are wrong in stock market. What it really matters is how much money you make when you are right and how much money you lose when you are wrong. So if you are, you know that you are investing in a good bet. Let's say if someone invests 3 to 4 lakhs and they end up making, so even if the price triple or four, it becomes 3 to 4 times in next 3 to 4 years, there will be a substantial gain of about 10 to 15 lakh for any investor. And it will give you guys at least a good, matlab na, ek good satisfaction that, okay, I made a good amount of money. Let's say we have invested only 25,000 or 30,000 or maybe 50,000. And even if people make, let's say, 1 lakh rupees on this 25,000, the life of that investor does not really change because of that investment. So this is one of the reasons why we say that rather than, so we do not do hanky panky stuff. We have a very simple philosophy with our investors and partners that whenever we like something, we want to go at least 5% of our portfolio into that company. And we generally try to invest in 20 companies, 20 businesses. And whenever there is euphoria in the market, we will try to sell off that business, or if the company stops growing. These are the two only points where we make an exit out of a business. And whenever there is an investment, so let's say if I want to invest in, we will try to at least put in or allocate 5% of our money into that company, so that when we make substantial gain in that company, our overall returns become substantial. मैं तो मतलब we are still doing like 3,73,000 or close to 4 lakh rupees of ticket. But the average ticket, even for NSE, as I said, is close to 500 shares. So people coming in invest anywhere between 15 to 20 lakhs for NSE. This is our average ticket size. I hope I answered the question.
So we have people asking us if they can get any documents or this PPT. So yes, we of course a lot of you have joined very late in the session. First of all, thank you so much for joining even at that late hour, even at the conclusion of the session. If you have joined, that shows your commitment for your financial growth. So thing is that if you have joined late, but if you still fill the form and you request for the recorded session link, we will provide. If you require any documents to study, if you want the same PPT again, we will share. So also this NSC has already been listed on the Beeinvest platform in the earlier time when we did. So there is quite a lot of information, but if you want this latest PPT from Mr. Rajesh, we can share the same with you as well.
Absolutely.
So do fill the form so that we can help you with all the queries, all the documents, and this PPT as well, and also the recording session. Do we have any more questions? So we have 27 people in the session. So I believe we can expect few more questions. Also, I have shared link in the group. I'm sharing it again. So please fill the form before you leave the session so that we can conclude it.
And we've
Next
got,
2 minutes, we'll be concluding the session.
right. And this presentation
Yeah.
is good. If any investor wants to look at it, we've got a lot of data in this presentation, be it for NSE and be it their comparison not only within India but with other world stock exchanges as well. It's very interesting PPT.
You really have a strong research team. I appreciate every piece of material that comes will be really robust when it comes to the information. I
Thank
must
you.
congratulate you and your team for that.
Thank you, Sapna ji.
Yeah, so we have 26 people here in the session. Kindly fill the form. We'll be ending the session in another minute's time.
Guys, just before this last minute, I'll take another minute just to sum up overall NSE. It's the largest exchange, compounding from last 25 years, being the technology innovator and adopting the innovation through technology in last 25 years. It has wiped out all the regional stock exchanges in India. It has even wiped out BSE in terms of volume. So NSE controls 99.67% of the volume being traded on derivatives. It controls 67% of the delivery volume of the stocks. So it is basically a monopoly, having a very big margins. Out of 12,000 crore of revenue, it made more than 8,000 crores of profits. And we strongly believe that company will continue to gather these strong margins, as well as they will continue to outperform, because there is no competitor. We don't see any other company or any other exchange giving any sort of competition to NSE. So it is going to be a monopoly play. We don't know for another decade, for 2 decades, for 3 decades. So from that perspective, and the company's intrinsic value is close to 9,200, and at the moment the company stock is available only at 3,630 rupees. Overall company's P is only at 23 or 24, whereas BSE, which is nowhere even comparable, has a P of around 93 or 94. So we feel here investors have a very good play. People will be able to make at least 3 to 4 times of their investment in next 3 years. And because it's such a behemoth, the margin of safety is extremely good. So people can look to invest in NSE. I hope I am able to justify the time which you guys have given me for this presentation. I thank you all for, after such a long day, for turning in and joining this session. That's it from my side. Sapna ji, you want to say anything? I think, guys, Sapna ji had a disruption has a disruption. So I'll end up this session. Sapna ji has already shared the link to the form. You can fill in the form if you have interest in investing in NSE. And if there are any queries regarding the presentation or the recordings, obviously the team can help in share those recordings, and also help you guys invest in this company. In case there are any other questions, I'll be happy to take that up offline. Thank you everyone for your time, and have a very good evening. Bye bye.